I'm muted. Sorry about that, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live, so fill up your plates, find the joy in your life, and remind Booker T that he has a wife because we are live for NXT, and it is time for two title defenses tonight from double champ Stephanie Vaquer. I'm your host, Marked by Wrestling, and super happy to have you with us tonight as we are waiting for the show to begin any moment now. And just on that note, I believe it is constellation time here now, forever together. Again, welcome to Marked by Wrestling, where being a mark just means you believe, and believing makes wrestling better. Tonight, we're going to respect each other, share our thoughts, and just have a good time as the show is now underway. What's up, Justin? Glad you're here. I hope you're ready for some NXT. They've been kicking on all cylinders for quite a while now, so I'm expecting a good show tonight. We get to see Stephanie twice. We get a Heritage Cup match tonight, and who knows what else with everything they've been building towards as we are on the road to stand and deliver. Here we go. We get a silhouette of Stephanie to start. I believe we're getting a recap of the Stephanie and Julia match. La Primera. I'm super impressed with her. I didn't know her at all until she came in. And I know she had a pretty high profile match with Mercedes Moné in AEW before she came over. But man, she's been incredible. She's going to be, basically the next big thing. I think once she hits main roster, it's going to be a lot of fun once she gets to that level of opponent. But they're doing a kind of a montage of other double champions in the past, showing Becky Lynch, so Seth Rollins. Dossie, welcome to the chat, friend. Thanks for being here. Hope you're ready for NXT tonight, as they're now showing us a little highlight reel from Miss Parker, Jada Parker, and I'm sure we'll get one from Fallon Henley as well, as they are the two champions tonight. But it seems to be the going theory that whoever walks out of these title matches tonight as champion will walk in to stand to deliver as champion. So, yeah, we are in for a double dose of Stephanie tonight. It's going to be two great matches. I'm sure of it already. And it took Fallon Henley long enough to get her rematch. I got to say, she asked for it, and Ava just kept ignoring her, which is okay, which is a choice from the GM style things. But yeah, they are making this episode all about Stephanie and the ladies. They were all the hype package, and here is the champion walking in the parking lot, arriving at the building earlier today. And now we see one of the challengers, Jada Parker, arriving at the building earlier today as well. She seems confident. And then Fatal Influence arriving together as Fallon Henley, the other challenger for the North American title. I don't know where these matches fall off. We also got Javon Evans challenging for the Heritage Cup tonight against Lexus King. So curious to see where that goes. Oh, and I think we just saw Dark State behind him, walking in the background. You blink and you miss it. But they're also on site. I'm curious what the placement of Stephanie's title matches will be. Oh, okay, Jada Parker's coming out first. We're getting the NXT title match first and front and center. So here we go. We're having the NXT title right out of the gate. So let's go ahead and bring up the banner here. We got the title match starting off the show. All right, guys, I know we're still filing in here, but we're getting started tonight with the NXT title on the line. Stephanie Vaquer versus Jada Parker. Let me know who you got for this match. For me, I really like Jada. I love what she's doing. Anybody who's been joining us week after week knows that I'm a big fan of her promo ability, and she's getting better in the ring each week. But I mean, I'm having a very difficult time not picking Stephanie tonight for either match, although she will have to deal with that numbers game in the North American title defense, which is going to be later in the show. So, yeah, we're starting here straight up with the actual NXT championship, although I guess the drama really is in the North American title match because she's going to have to face more than one foe at ringside. So we'll see. George, welcome to the chat, friend. All right, I see George and Justin both picking Stephanie Vaquer. George, welcome to the chat. I got Stephanie Vaquer retaining. Justin also got Stephanie as well. I mean, this is not a real major tense, a decision. I would be shocked if Jada Parker pulls off the upset here tonight. So, okay, the crowd is excited. Mike Rome is on the mic tonight. All right, George, what do you got for me? JC Jane attacked Masha Slamovich on Impact. I can see Masha Slamovich getting involved. Oh, in the North American title match. That would be really interesting because she has visited NXT several times in the past few weeks, but she hasn't put her hands on anybody, not on NXT anyways. So that would be very interesting. I'd be interested to see that. When it's done sparingly, I'm a big fan of a champion or a high-profile contender wrestling more than one match in a night. We've got Loud La Primera chants in the NXT arena tonight already. Anyway, I go back to like 93 and I think about the first pay-per-view King of the Ring tournament when Bret Hart won the tournament and he was wrestling who were the three guys he wrestled? Scott Hall or Razor Ramon. He wrestled Mr. Perfect and then Bam Bam Bigelow. That was a great exhibition of multiple wrestled matches by the Hitman. So if you're ever looking for something to watch on Peacock or wherever, King of the Ring 93, not a bad show, especially if you're a fan of the Hitman. Okay, got a little arm lock and reversals going on. George wants Stephanie to retain both titles. I wouldn't be mad at it at all if she did. I don't know what her body can handle in terms of like multiple nights of multiple title defenses, but if she's down for it, I'm not going to complain for sure. Oh, Julia showed up at an NXT Live to confront Cora Jade, huh? Interesting. Not Stephanie. I would expect if Julia was ready to go, she'd come back into the title picture again. Well, we got the whole women's locker room in the back watching this TV here. We see Lola, I think that was Lola Vice, who just kind of walked into frame right before they cut away. But they all got eyes on this match. Head scissors into a roll-up. Interesting takedown into a... Tell you what, Stephanie's a great chain wrestler. Like, she's one of the... I feel like that Stephanie is one of the smoothest female technical wrestlers on this level of exposure I've seen in a long time. I mean, and that's not to put down any of the other female wrestlers. A lot of them are very good, very, very good. We're probably in the best time for women's wrestling that we've ever been in as fans, at least in my lifetime. But I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of Stephanie's just technical acumen. Like she's got a real, I mean, not everything. She's not, it's not like watching, Tully Blanchard in 1986 or something. I don't know. But nevertheless, she's really polished. She's really polished in the ring. Like, I don't think any of her moves look like they need work. You know what I mean? But Vaquer on the offensive. She's a little bit of a physical underdog against Jada. Jada's got some size on her, but not a huge amount. Oh, great reversal there. She went to do a reverse leapfrog out of the corner and then just landed on her back. But Jada's wardrobe is not malfunctioning, but messing with her a little bit tonight. She really needs to see the gear people again. Samantha Poole, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you with us. We are in the midst of the NXT title match right now between Stephanie Vaquer and Jada Parker. It had kicked off the show tonight. The entire female locker room is backstage watching the monitor. So it's appointment viewing for everybody here at NXT.
I figured you want the whole role since you saved hundreds with Progressive.
So yeah. While we're on picture in picture commercial break right now as the match continues. So what did you guys think of Raw from Glasgow yesterday? Did everybody get a chance to watch it at this point? I know the Netflix hours have been weird, at least for those of us, stateside, trying to catch up with that and being in the middle of our work days and whatnot. But curious what you guys thought of Raw and all the developments that have taken place there. We're still going here, picture in picture. Also, we'll be coming up on Stand and Deliver. We're about a month away from that. Also, just want to let you guys know, just for our YouTube channel community, to let everybody know where we're headed. I do believe A&B Combos Wrestling Edition, A&B, AJ and Becky will be broadcasting SmackDown at the regularly scheduled time on Friday. I believe that's the last thing I heard. And your boy, Marked by Wrestling, we will be doing Raw live on Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys are watching Raw live on Netflix on Monday, join me right here. I'll have a live ready to go. And yeah, man, we'll party it up, man. One more. I have heard that is John Cena's last contractually scheduled TV appearance before Mania, which sounds crazy. That can't be right, but that's something I heard today. Nevertheless. All right. As we're still at commercial, let me read some of these comments here. Samantha Poole, it was good. I liked Raw. I woke up just in time. Yeah, man, the hours are different. Justin says Raw was awesome. George, Raw was pretty good. Delsey says, smack that like button, everybody. Like Jimmy Uso smacked Gunther last night. Dude, I love a good, just hard slap in pro wrestling, and Jimmy laid that in. That was and I love that they chose to do it in a hallway too. So the acoustics of that smack echoed so loud. And I'm not gonna talk down about Gunther, not our ring general, but I'll say this, because I couldn't have been any tougher than he was, but I swear it looked like he wanted to cry just for a half second. That Jay hauled off so hard. So Jimmy, sorry, not Jay, but anyway. That smack has earned Jimmy a match with Gunther on Monday, so we'll see if it was worth it. But it was fantastic. Even Redman on X was making a little musical montage out of it, which I cannot repeat. But, And I don't think this fishnet gear is doing Jada any favors. She seems to be kind of preoccupied with it. And that I'm not going to say it's dealing with her messing with her concentration, but it looks like it is, Oh, triangle, arm triangle by Stephanie hanging over the ropes. As we have been back from commercial break for a minute. Springboard crossbody clears half the ring. Crowd's back on their feet. Getting hyped up. Oh, Stephanie's got a grin on her face. 619. 619 from Stephanie Vaquer, and Jada is in position. Oh boy, everybody. Everybody say a prayer for Booker T. It's the first of multiple times we're going to hear this tonight. 2, 3, 4. Tell me there's a name for this move, because I feel weird trying to describe it while it's happening, but y'all all know the move I'm talking about. Anyway, George says you like Jada Parker. She's just not ready for championships yet. I get that. That's fair. Crowd is chanting something, but I can't make out what it is. Jada getting frustrated. She can't put the champion away. Jordan Grace just left the backstage area. Oh boy, well, we'll see if she makes a cameo here now or later. Because Jada getting this title shot was as a result of her blindsiding Jordan Grace when Jordan was trying to stake her claim at the NXT Championship. So, Justin with a question. Did you see a video Gunther Chop made CM Punk tap out at a live event? I didn't see him tap out, but I did see him take a few chops from Gunther, and the dude looked like he had gotten almost, I mean, not legitimately concussed, but oh, here's Jordan. Jordan is on the corner. She has arrived to distract Jada, and that might be all. Oh, no. I was about to say it might be all Stephanie needs, but Jada was on top of her game and was ready for it. She's coming off the ropes. Oh, but no, Stephanie's got her countered. Roll up. 3, and Stephanie Vaquer has successfully defended the NXT Championship thanks to a brief momentary distraction from Jordan Grace. But to be fair, Jada recovered and she still got. So she can blame Jordan all she wants, but she had a chance to recover. Well, Jada looks at, yeah, they're already sending the refs down to separate Jada and Jordan. Man, oh man. But yeah, Jada was on the path to victory, but unfortunately, she ran into Jordan Grace, who distracted her long enough to cost her the match. And Fallon Henley and Fatal Influence have jumped Stephanie Vaquer in the ring. Don't tell me we're doing the next match now. That would be absurd. But either way, they're trying to soften her up a little bit. This reminds me of when Sting was supposed to defend the U.S. title against Rick Rude at a Clash of Champions. And they jumped him earlier in the show to try to get him to forfeit. Nope, just a beatdown. Okay. I was like, these title matches can't be like cash-ins. They can't just come in and demand the match start. But Stephanie's hurting. Oh, now we got Trick backstage. Being confronted by Javon Evans. I've been focused on others so hard, you ain't do what I did to him last week at drop. Man, Nick, you dropped over because you was focused on me. Oh, really? Hey, bro, you keep falling down with me, I'm gonna keep shocking you. All right, well, she signed every champion, right? Well, tonight, I'm gonna prove you wrong again. Look, Javon, you got potential, bro. Good for you. Look, Brady Orton said you got potential. You got all these coach titles. But it's one thing to have potential, it's another thing to have the title. It's one thing to have potential. It's another thing to have the title. It's a championship thing, dog. You wouldn't understand. Yeah. Javon definitely trying to earn the respect of Trick Williams here. But Trick, again, just saying, you're not a champion. You wouldn't know about it. You wouldn't know about this. So here we go. Stephanie's places. I've seen clips of her and CM Punk talking. I'm interested to watch that episode just to see her and Punk in the same room having a friendly conversation. But yeah. So not sure what what tricks got lined up for him next, although he's still laser focused on Obafemi. So we're getting a glimpse here. They're really revisiting the hostility Punk and Triple H had with each other 10 years ago.
Forgot those words, and don't worry, I fired back.
So if you guys could keep that up for about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you'd last 1 second longer than Punk did.
Oh, they're just giving you a little taste of the Stephanie's Places show. We got a Ricky Saints interview coming up next on the show. Curious to see where he goes from here. He beat Ridge Holland last time he was in the ring, as we are now in commercial break for NXT. So, yeah, we've got, again, we'll have A and B back again on Friday for SmackDown. I'll be joining you guys on Monday for Raw, and, of course, next Tuesday as well for NXT. But I was going to ask, what did you guys think of Cena's? What do you think of the Cena and Cody feud right now? What do you guys think? We're getting a certain type of brand of heel turn, a version of a heel turn from Cena, but he and Cody, nobody's thrown hands yet. There hasn't yet been another mention of The Rock or the selling of the soul or any of that kind of stuff. Cena finally bringing up wanting to win title number 17. Anyway, I'm just curious what you guys' thoughts are on that at this time. Samantha wonders when Roxy will show up on the main roster. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I thought, and maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I would loved to have seen Roxy have kind of like a final feud in NXT before she fully comes up. But I don't know. I don't know what we're getting there. But yeah, I think I think Roxy's great. She's grown on me a lot. I was not a huge believer in Roxy early on, but I like her a lot more now than I used to. And so I'm ready to see her mix it up with some women on the main roster for sure. So I'm seeing it's okay. It's decent. The Cena Cody feud. I can see them throwing hands before WrestleMania, George says. Sophie Dophie, welcome to the chat, by the way. Good to see you this evening, ma'am. So there's for the second week, no mention of The Rock. I'm curious about that myself. I don't want to get conspiratorial with anybody, but I just have to wonder, how much Rock are we going to get? I mean, we are in the home stretch. We talked about this with A&B last night too. We're in the home stretch now to WrestleMania. This is the month. This is the last 4 weeks before the show. And if something's going to be happening, it needs to start happening. I would say starting next Monday, because Rock, it's not a question of star power. It's a question of storytelling. They got to show up to advance this story. And Cena's great on the mic. Rock is great on the mic. Cody's great on the mic for my money. But yeah, right now, Cody and Cena are almost talking past each other in a way. They're saying things. Well, I mean, Cody is talking to Cena, but Cena's kind of talking past him. He's just talking at the fans, which was fine for the first week because you need to explain yourself and your heel turn. And I thought he did that fine. But now, I don't know. It just seems like I'm gonna need the next gear to kick in. Need some of that sauce on it. Spice it up a little bit. So this Monday, Sophie's telling us this Monday is the final Raw John Cena has advertised for it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm confused because I know that when he announced his, retirement tour, that he'd be with WWE through the end of the year, but each show he does, is the last time he does that show. So obviously this will be John's last active competitor WrestleMania. But I didn't think that was going to mean he wouldn't be, that he would disappear again for a while. I really hope if this is truly his final in-ring year, which by all accounts seems to be. I really hope we don't get a Roman Reigns / Brock Lesnar part-time Cena for the rest of the year, who only just works the big PLE shows. Like, I would really like to see him take an opportunity to get involved with other competitors. Like, he doesn't have to be in the title picture all year long, but we're back at NXT now, so let's see what's up.
Champions this Thursday when it should be against the Meta Girls. Tired of giving the Meta Girls tag team opportunities. What you think of that? You know, first we're going to defeat Ash and Heather, and then we're going to get a title shot and bring those TNA tag team titles to NXT.
Okay.
Whatever. The Blue and I have been a real tag team longer than anyone in this family. You don't say girls, that's just a woman's job. We ran up on Ash and Heather and you little freaks when it took our shot.
The Metaphor Girls and Gigi and Tatum are arguing about the TNA tag titles. And they bumped up against Sol Ruca and Zarya on the way through it. That's a three-way tag I wouldn't mind seeing. I can see that. I can watch that all day. I'm telling you, best women's division in all of wrestling. George brings up Liv and Raquel. Ever since Liv Morgan and Raquel won the WWE Tag Team Championships, when was the last time they defended them? Yeah, I think they've had maybe one defense, and that was it. I have more thoughts on that. We'll come back to that in a minute. Ricky Saints interview. Looks like earlier in the day here.
I think it's funny because there are superstars back there in that locker room that had a head start on me. And it wasn't until I showed up that they decided to up their game. I think you and the WWE Universe is quickly finding out just how confident I am as a performer.
He's saying some people didn't up their game until I showed up. I think he's talking about Sean Spears, man.
So that's what I've been dealing with all my life. So coming here was nothing new, nothing different. Where do you find that inner self-confidence? You know, when I was breaking in there,
ask him where he finds his inner self-confidence. I'm assuming he finds it in his hand. You know, it's probably where the inner self-confidence comes from.
There was times where I didn't have money to buy clothes, but at the end of those days, the only thing that I actually had was my self-confidence. The confidence.
Sophie's mentioning maybe The Rock comes back once everybody's back in America. I think that's a real possibility. He probably too complicated for him to do the international travel with his current schedule. I could understand that. I just wish he's still got an Instagram. You know, he could still do things. Oh, here's Sean Spears to crash the interview, the North American champion. He's just kicking Vic right out of the chair, and he's going to interview Ricky himself. Oh, Sophie, I'm not going anywhere for my watch-alongs. I'm going to keep doing it. I really hope A and B are able to figure out a way to watch it, and if they want to do theirs, that's totally fine. But I've started it, and I don't plan on stopping it. So I'm glad you guys are here to watch along with me. I appreciate it.
Remember the conversation in Philly? The one not too long ago, actually. How many times, Ricky, have I had to talk you off a metaphorical ledge? Times when you didn't believe in yourself. All the advice that I've given you over the years. Now, the reason I didn't ask you is because sadly you're still the same guy that I left over a year ago. Nothing's changed. This arrogance of yours is a plague everywhere you go. And everywhere you go, all you do is create a nice long line of enemies. Ricky. And it's all you're doing. Wow, you know what's so weird about that? You don't understand the fact that if you want to be number one here in NXT.
So Ricky and Sean are just trading barbs back and forth here. Clearly, they're building to something. I could see this being the stand and deliver match pretty easily.
Here at WWE, and I have three of my best friends who I consider family right beside you. They are the reason that you have that championship, and I'm going to be the reason that I take it from you. You get that?
Okay. So Ricky has formalized his intentions to be the next North American champion.
Do not add me to that long list of enemies.
Yeah, I'll be here to watch that at Stand and Deliver. Ricky Saints and Sean Spears.
Oh, never mind. We both know you burnt every bridge, don't we?
Subtle jab to Ricky Saints saying you could go back. He's like, nah, because you burned every bit. You burned every bridge. It's interesting there. Well, listen, if you're looking to support the channel as we're building our way to Super Chat Championship debuting, you can support here through Cash App and Venmo right here at the bottom of the screen. Appreciate anything you want to give, and we'll keep that up there for a little while we're getting here. So, Sophie, you want to know do you think we'll see? Do you think we'll see Roman versus Gunther? I absolutely want to see that match at some point. I completely want that. I have no idea when we'll get it, but I think that's a killer match right there.
What the hell is your problem? That's not how we handle things here. This isn't a classroom. Professor, this is the real world. But you know better.
Okay.
They're young and inexperienced.
Andre Chase and Ethan Page having a little bit of a standoff here.
Actually have consequences. Oh, you know what? I actually forgot that your dead-end university's closed.
Oh, that's how you feel?
Yes.
Maybe I should teach them about sensitive, tough guys like you who can't handle the truth.
Low key, Ethan Page looks like a supervillain version of a Chase University leader, faction leader. This Chase U wannabe. Welcome, B. Welcome to the chat. So glad you're here. Kind of reminds me of when Benoit and Malenko wanted to get Arn Anderson to reform the Four Horsemen, but a little sillier. Oh, Motor City Machine Guns are in the house with Hank and Tank. They're here to gas up Hank and Tank right before their match. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if we want to put MCMGs and Fraxium in the same building, I'm here for it. I'm here for that. NXT, Sophie Dovey says NXT is like the AEW reunion locker room. Well, to be fair, some of the departees from AEW have landed in all kinds of different spots in WWE, even if they started earlier. So, because we've still got Jade Cargill and, of course, they were in WWE first, but Cody and Punk on the main roster. But, yeah, we've got Ethan and Lexus King and Ricky Saints and Sean Spears. Yeah, so there's plenty. And Stephanie Vaquer. Well, although I don't know if she was ever formally signed to AEW, Stephanie Vaquer. I think she just was on one of those guest spots for that Mercedes Moné match. But I'll give her credit. I'll give AEW credit. I think she began to get United States notoriety with that match with Mercedes. But she's made it her own here now. So everything she's got now, she's done on her own for sure. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for being here again. As we're on a picture-in-picture commercial break, as we're getting entrance. Sorry, the problem with picture-in-picture is that when the title cards come on the screen, they're so small you can't read them, or at least because my TV is on the other side of the room. But Tyreek and Dyson are here. And Tyson, excuse me. Tyson and Tyreek are here, and I believe they're going to be matching up with Hank and Tank for this next tag bout. So curious who you guys got in that match. What you think of it? Tag team division in NXT, it's not at the heights that it once was. There was a time where, like, if you wanted tag team wrestling, you needed to be watching NXT back when you had, Undisputed Era or DIY or, FTR, or, back when the Authors of Pain were good, or at least they were given attention, I should say, or even, Riddle and Pete Dunne, or the Street Profits, all those guys. So now I will say there are some good teams coming up, but it definitely where the women's division in NXT right now, feels like maybe the best women's division in all of WWE's product. The tag division definitely does feels like developmental NXT right now, outside of Fraxium, which is ironically the best individual team, I think, in the entire company right now. So it's weird having the best company, but maybe arguably the weakest tag scene. I think NXT's tag scene might still be better than Raw's tag scene, if I'm being honest. Raw's tag scene is just a little stale to me. It's not bad. It's just they need some freshening up. SmackDown's tag scene is excellent, but in my opinion, but NXT's coming up there. Sophie, what happened to the Bayley Roxy feud? This is a great question. Let's go ahead and put it up here. What happened to the Bayley Roxy feud? It seems like now they have attached Bayley to Lyra Valkyria for a feud with Liv and Raquel. So I don't know if that means Bayley is going to be reinserted into like the Intercontinental title scene, or if there's going to be a tag title match at Mania or in the lead up to Mania. I don't know, but I was very interested in furthering the Bayley Roxy feud as well, because that would have been a great introductory feud for Roxanne on the main roster. I feel like we saw more of that feud in NXT than we did on the main roster, outside of a few non-physical interferences. So I don't know. In the words of Michael Clark Duncan and Talladega Nights, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Do not put that evil on me that maybe they dropped the ball with Roxanne already. I don't think I'm going to trust, and well, maybe not trust, but I'm going to hope that is not the case. And maybe after Mania, she'll start to get a little bit of a swagger back on the main roster, at least, because she's too talented not to have done that. Although it is a little suspect that they just didn't even give a solid closure to that feud yet. Now, if Bayley did somehow manage to get the women's Intercontinental title, I'd love to see Roxanne take it from her. That's all I'm saying. And before they got rid of, before they just kind of stopped defending the tag titles again, seeing Raquel contend for the IC title against Lyra yesterday, honestly, I was kind of hoping, I was like, you know what? Liv Morgan wouldn't be a bad Intercontinental champion either. So I don't know. Now we've still got the Motor City Machine Guns backstage watching this match. Justin Hallengrain with a great question. How do you feel about Tyson, Tyreek, and Wesley? So listen, I really like Wesley. I like the refresh he's gotten, with his heel turn. Tyson and Tyreek, they look good. They can move, and like those boys are big. I'm still kind of deciding how I feel. They kind of have, now I'm not stereotyping here. They give me like the physical memory of Crime Time, not all the stereotypical hood stuff, but like, and maybe it's because one of them looks like he's wearing Tim's, but like, nevertheless, they kind of have that big cut Shad and JTG style builds. So they could, oh my gosh. I'm still learning which one's Hank and which one's Tank, but a suicide dive right into the announce table, which did not have any give. And man, Tyreek, I think it was, took the brunt of that. Goodness gracious. Man. Wow. Wesley with a distraction, and then eats a running a European uppercut. Tyreek now in. That was Tyson. Sorry, still learning about Tyreek and Tyson. But yeah, that suicide dive was nasty. These teams are doing really well. You know what? There's a little bit of an USO problem here, in that it took most of us forever to be able to tell the difference between Jimmy and Jay. Now, granted, they're twins, so there's more grace there, but both of these teams are pretty well cohesive with one another as a unit. That they don't stand out as individuals to me. Now, I don't hate that, but also it's taking me longer to differentiate between both teams, like which one's Hank, which one's Tank, which one's Tyreek, and which one's Tyson. Now, Tyreek and Tyson at least have their names on their gear, which I'm thankful for. Tyson is the bigger one. All right, the big slam there. So I'll learn that. Tyreek is slightly smaller than Tyson. And it's like I said, Hank and Tank reminded me of what if Public Enemy and Heavy Machinery had a baby. And I still stand by that. With a little bit of War Raiders mixed in that they are deceptively agile, both of these men. All right, tag in to Tyreek. Yeah, all right, so Hank's in the ring, according to Corey Graves. All right, so Tank has got the little, the shorter hair. All right, so I'm learning here. All right, so Hank and Tyreek in there. So here we go. As we're going here, okay, hot tag to Tank. House of Fire. Wesley looks nervous on the outside. Oh, man. Clean belly to belly off the ropes. Tank trying to take on both guys at the same time. How long can he keep it up? Okay, cartwheel into a clothesline. Tank's firing up the crowd. Hey, crowd's getting behind him. Crowd is getting behind Hanging Tank. Going for a suplex, fisherman suplex. Oh, into a spine buster. Creative, but that pin gets broken up almost immediately. Jesse Ventura would have had a conniption saying the ref was out of position for that pin. These guys still going. I got to admit, both Tyson and Tyreek and Hank and Tank are moving almost at top speed nonstop. And these are big dude teams. Like, they're not as, Hank and Tank aren't as big as the War Raiders or something. Wesley interfering. Tank is pushed off the top rope. Now what do we got? Hank's left alone. Do we get a blind tag? Oh, no blind tag. But here comes Tyson. We're going to get a double team maneuver. And back suplex into tandem maneuver. And that'll be it. Tyson and Tyreek take that one. But listen, that match won me over. And that's something I love about NXT, is that when you give a match a chance in NXT, even if you don't really know super well who the competitors are, by the end of the match, more often than not, you'll be like, dang, these guys can go. And so, okay, Stephanie Vaquer is getting taped up. Ava's talking to her. Let's see what happens.
I am La Primera. Follow, get her title match. Stephanie, are you sure we can always push her? Thank you.
Okay. Stephanie looking like 1997 Diamond Dallas Page, got her ribs taped up. And Stephanie, a proud woman, saying, I made a promise. I gave you my word that I was going to have that title match, and we're going to have that title match. So I'm sure that's going to be the main event tonight. And right now, we're getting the entrance of Javon Evans. It's time for the Heritage Cup match between Lexus King, a.k.a. Brian Pillman Jr., and Javon Evans. So tell me, guys, what do you think? Who do you think for this Heritage Cup match? Is it the champ, Lexus King, or is it the young OG, the newly fired up Javon Evans? Will he pull a steal? Now, George, I'm leaning towards your direction. Like, when these, this is the kind of scenario, as we're in commercial break. In this kind of scenario where you've got a champion coming up saying, hey, you know, I'm a double champ and I'm going to still defend both my titles, and you catch a beat down before that second match, you give her an out to lose, but also if she still manages to win, you solidify her as fantastic, as a fantastic, impressive main event talent. And I've seen that go both ways before. Now, my only question I think about here in regards to Stephanie is not really about her, but about the titles. Because, like you said, we said before, we are on the road now to Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend. Which, by the way, I am excited to share Stand and Deliver with you guys that Saturday earlier in the day. Before night one of WrestleMania. I hope you guys have the time for a little wrestling brunch, if you will, a little wrestling brunch watch along where we will catch Stand and Deliver together before WrestleMania night one. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to have Stephanie wrestle twice on Stand and Deliver. If so, that is a gutsy call, especially with there being so many capable female challengers in that locker room that they couldn't get. I'm going to say the North American title because I just don't believe they're going to move the NXT title off of her, at least before Stand and Deliver, right? So I don't know. It could go either way. It could totally go either way. Like, if you're going to have both titles on one wrestler, Stephanie is the one I want to have it for sure. So if we're doing this, then they've got the right talent to hold it. So I'm in for her gutting it out. And if she does win, I'll be hyped for that too. Although I'll be curious, you know, where we go from there in regards to that. In regards to the Heritage Cup match, we have a prediction from Justin Hallencream, Alexis King with the Shield 2.0 help, Dark State, as they're called, which sounds like a DC Comics villain, but it's not a bad name. It's not a bad name. I don't mean that in a criticizing way. But yeah, Dark State, who we know are on the premises. Interestingly enough, we saw them in the background as one Javon Evans was entering the facility today. So, foreshadowing that they'll show up in the background of this match as well for Javon Evans? Possibly. They have been haunting him, not quite to the level of a Wyatt 6 haunting, but they have been haunting him recently and very consistently. And listen, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but ask yourself this question. Dark State has been attacking multiple baby faces week after week since Vengeance Day, right? Which is when they appeared. They've attacked Obafemi, and they've attacked Javon Evans. Yeah, Dawsey. So I didn't know that last week. They said that in the promo, but to be honest, one of the guys in the group didn't do his best job enunciating. I didn't learn it until after the show when I rewatched one of the promos. But yeah, they're called Dark State. So anyways, you know who Dark State hasn't attacked yet, to my knowledge? One Trick Williams, who has been exhibiting some ruthless aggression. Just makes me curious. Maybe nothing. Maybe my imagination carrying me away. But yeah, we will see what happens. Hall of Fame, April 18th. Natural disasters, man. Natural disasters coming into their own. God bless them. If you can see, I got my two Hasbro natural disasters back here. Earthquake and Typhoon. Typhoon, the former tugboat, also the former Shockmaster. As we have a backstage interview with Fraxium, let's listen in.
But Axiom, I have to ask you what it was like to go home to Spain and push Gunther to his limits on SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
Well, it was a dream come true. Like, as you said, I pushed the world heavyweight champion to its limits in my home country in front of my friends.
That Gunther Axiom match was fantastic.
Me too, amigo, because I wasn't actually invited to that, you know what I mean? But hey, it's Stand and Deliver season.
Oh, we've talked about this, all right? It was supposed to be a surprise, and We know you have a big mouth, so I wanted to keep it a secret. What's that? What, you think I'm gonna like tweet about it or something? Well, you've done that before, so yeah. Are you serious? Maybe where was that you actually want to be? Was that supposed to be? What happened? You attacked.
Okay, Fraxium is having a bit of a lover's quarrel here, but in the background on the TV, Obafemi has arrived on the scene, and he does not look like he's wasting time. You know, I follow Nathan Frazier on Twitter or X, which, by the way, he's an outspoken Christian, um, which is pretty amazing. And for those of you who don't roll that way, in a non-judgmental, very affirming, encouraging kind of way. He's never super preachy. He's very humble and grateful, as a competitor and as a person. So he's a great follow for that. But they've been, talking back and forth on social media, but like just kind of almost making fun of the fact that they're constantly arguing with each other. So I think at this point, Dawsey, exactly. They always team in them breaking up. And at this point, I think it's just a running gag that they get on each other's nerves. I don't know at this point that they're actually going to do the breakup. I kind of don't want them to at this point. I would rather this almost be their gimmick for a little while and continue to have amazing tag matches than to actually do it, because Fraxium does feel like a team to me that if you break them up, they both might end up suffering. Keep them together. Not that they don't have what it takes. Both of them are amazing. But anyway, Lexis King. All right, so Heritage Cup rules now under Lexis King's reign is basically a singles match, one fall to a finish. George, good point. Obafemi is now on the property, and the last time we saw him, he ate a cutter from Javon Evans, who's getting a little, as they say where I come from, a little big for his britches. So he may have written a couple of checks that his body couldn't cash last week, and he may have to answer to the ruler. So the ruler may come up and ruin this match as well. We'll see. Friday night, SmackDown's coming to us from London, so I'm anticipating a hot crowd there. Honestly, I thought Glasgow was a little hot and cold on Monday, so I expect more from SmackDown in London. And also Raw on Monday will be from London as well. 2 back-to-back London shows. So that should be interesting. And also take that into consideration. They are both in London, so both rosters may be there for each show. So we may see some interesting crossover between SmackDown and Raw. And then next Friday, SmackDown is going to be in Chicago, the backyard of CM Punk. So I'm sure we'll see some interesting stuff in the next couple of weeks on main roster programming. Crowd surprisingly quiet for this match right now, which made for a loud chop. Javon laid into Lexis there. Lexis King gave a recent interview I read earlier today where he was just talking about being appreciative for NXT, that he, just kind of self-reflected as a talent, that the organization and the structure of WWE is better for him than the sort of free range of AEW, which I applaud his self-awareness and knowing what's better for him as a talent. Because you look, and you're right, George, we got Ethan Page versus Andre Chase tonight. That should be a fun match before we get the North American title match for the women. I applaud Lexis's self-awareness there because, it doesn't matter if you're a performer who can kind of call it in the ring or if you're someone who needs a lot of planning. There have been all-time performers that come from each school of thought. And I think of a couple, 2 of my favorites of all time, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair, were notorious call it in the ring guys. They come in, they just feel the crowd, and they would do the thing. And a lot of people elevate that as a higher art form of wrestling. I think it's very good, but I don't think it's the only way, because you also look at Diamond Dallas Page and Macho Man Randy Savage. Those guys were both notorious planners. And even currently, Logan Paul is very much a planner. And when those guys plan, they do amazing stuff in the ring. Man, Javon is so agile. He just had a springboard moonsault off the second rope, rebounding off the rope. And man, he reminds me of a young Kofi Kingston, like how Kofi, and still can to this day. He doesn't as much anymore, but the way he can just get so much air. And dude, Javon Javon is so agile. He just hit a suicide dive on Lexus King and could have cleared the entire announce table if he wanted to. He's just got so much agility and speed and vertical on his jump. I was expecting him to go over the top, but he came out through the middle. So anyway, so we'll see if we get any cameos in this match from Obafemi or from Dark State, or maybe both of them. Because I'm sure Obafemi wants a few shots back at those guys too. While we're still having this Heritage Cup match in picture, as the action has spilled out to the outside, and Lexus King is trying to contain himself a little bit and catch his breath, holding his ribs a little bit. But yeah, so I'm interested in the growth of Lexus King as a performer. I was a big Brian Pillman fan when his dad was really younger. He was a real prototype of a cruiserweight. Like, there just weren't wrestlers like him in mainstream American wrestling. You know, this was before the luchadors really got on mainstream TV. Really the only high-level flying wrestler back in Pillman's day was Jushin Thunder Liger from Japan. And also maybe the Great Muta, although Muta had more of a build of a main eventer or an upper mid card guy, but Pillman was a smaller guy. Liger was a smaller guy, and so like there's a part of me I wish there was, like, you know, if there was a time machine, kind of the showcase mode. That is a showcase mode I'd love to see in a 2K game. Is like the history of, let's just call it the history of cruiserweights, where you could have young Pillman versus a Javon Evans, or although Javon's not necessarily cruiserweight, but he can wrestle like one though if he wants to. But yeah, some of these old school guys, you know, Pillman, Liger, Ultimo Dragon, you know, against some of these guys now who are smaller in stature on the main roster, but can really go in the ring. That would be so much fun. I would love that. At some point, I'm curious if they'll bring Pillman into a WWE game with Lexus is already in the game. So anyway, that to be fair, I'm ignorant. I don't know if Pillman's ever been in a WWE game. I jumped from like SmackDown versus Raw 2010 all the way to 2K23. So I missed about 11 or 12 years of wrestling gaming. So he might have been in one of the WWE games at that point, but I have not seen him in one, at least not as a formal wrestler. I mean, other than the creator wrestlers. So yeah, curious where that goes. But yeah, so further announcements. If you're just joining us, Stephanie Vaquer has already successfully defended the NXT championship against Jada Parker thanks to some distraction from Jordan Grace. And in the aftermath, Stephanie Vaquer was attacked by Fatal Influence, but she is determined to still defend the North American title here tonight. We're also building, speaking of North American titles, we are now building to a program between Shawn Spears, the champion, and Ricky Saints, newest acquisition from NXT. Oh, great fit. It's like a fisherman brainbuster from Lexus. Only gets 2, though. You know what, George? The referee has been out of position a couple of times tonight. Like, it's not egregious, but what's the old line from Phineas and Ferb? Like, if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I would only have 2 nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice. See, Booker just called it. The referee was not in position, man. But yeah, he was out of position during the tag match once, and now he's out of position in this match. Oh, Superman punch by Javon Evans. He got quite a bit of air on that, as he does with just about everything when he leaves his feet. Bouncing off the ropes, and that is not quite a trouble in paradise, some kind of acrobatic roundhouse kick, flying roundhouse kick. So Javon's headed up top. Are we looking for a finish here? Wow. Montez Ford would stand up and acknowledge that frog splash, but it only gets 2. See, if you were more cut and more muscled up like Montez, probably would have got 3 on that, Javon. Sorry, dog. But again, case in point for NXT. They give these matches time to bring the crowd in and get hot. Great super kick by Alexis. He's calling for the finish now. He said it's all over. He's got him in a front face lock. Coronation reversed. Off the ropes. Another not trouble in paradise. I got to say, a lot of Javon Evans' offense seems to be remixed of other performers' moves. You got the frog splash that's similar to Tez, and then you've got that kick that's similar to Trouble in Paradise. Dive off the top. Man, Javon is so impressively agile. All right. Is he about to go up top again? Nope. The roller grabbed him right. Oh. Emmy grabs him right off the apron and snap power bombs him right into the apron, into the hardest part of the ring. And the ref didn't see it. Dude, 3 strikes and you're out, ref. Are you kidding me? And Oba's just standing there counting out Javon. Can he make it back in? No. Lexus is going to retain by count out. Man. Which is honestly, that just feeds right into Lexus, man. Winning by count out. That's such a honky-tonk man move. Lexus King still the Heritage Cup champion. And Javon finally has crawled his way back into the ring, crawling his way towards Lexus on the other side of the floor, but lights are out. There's Dark State here. Let's see what's coming. There's the 4 spotlights. Dark State is in the house. Real quick as they're making it's Dark State, but Oba, Femi, and Javon don't care. They're throwing hands with each other. And Oba's going to go for a powerbomb again as Dark State's coming to the ring. Oh, here comes Trick. Trick just nailed Javon Evans with a trick shot, and he went out of the ring. Was he aiming for Oba? Probably. And now refs are separating the 2 of them, but Dark State is still here at ringside. And they're just amping the crowd up. Crowd chanting, let them fight. And we go to commercial. George, you've got the question, my friend. Let's share it with the group. George comes to the front of the class and says, Steven, do we have a triple threat match between Trick Williams versus Oba Femi versus Javon Evans? I think we do. And I'll do you one better to answer your second question. Who's the leader of Dark State? I think Trick's the leader of Dark State. I think we're getting, and that's not a, never mind. Some of y'all knew where I was going with that. Never mind. I do think Trick is the leader. I think we're going to get that triple threat match. And I think that's how Trick, not to be redundant, but kind of sells his soul to get that NXT title back. Because it's going to take 4 or 5 people to put down Obafemi. So that is my take on it. What do you guys think? And while you're thinking about it, if you want to support the channel, here are 2 ways to do it. So glad that you guys could be with us again tonight for NXT. So yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing about wrestling, everybody. Just because something might be a little bit predictable doesn't mean it's bad. It's all in storytelling. It's all in execution. Like, how many movies have you seen where the good guy wins in the end, right? The good guy winning in the end is predictable, right? But that doesn't mean the story isn't bad. That doesn't mean you still aren't having the time of your life. Still doesn't mean you're not getting rocked by the story that you're seeing, right? So sometimes we can see things and think we already know what's going to happen. And sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong. And even when we're right, though, that doesn't take away from the joy of wrestling. So, and that's a big thing for me and that I want in Marked by Wrestling is that you guys never lose the joy of being a wrestling fan. Because, I mean, first of all, why else would you have a hobby if it didn't bring you joy in life, right? You know what I mean? But wrestling, if you don't take it too seriously and you don't allow the things that disappoint you to overwhelm the things you can enjoy, if you just let yourself be taken in by the story and stuff, you have a lot of fun. And NXT is just one of the best examples of that because each week we're seeing people who maybe don't have the pedigree or the, no pun intended, who don't have the resume of, a Cody Rhodes or a Rock or a John Cena or whatever. Sometimes we're seeing these people for the first time or the second time. And by the end of that match, time and time again, we're like, dude, that match delivered. That was good stuff. That match cooked. So give wrestling a chance and it will give back to you. You know what I mean? So we have some discussion in the comments here about who the potential leader of Dark State would be. Justin is suggesting Obafemi, and then we've got George saying Trick. So you know what? I would rather, if I had to choose between those, I would choose Trick because I would say the way the story is being told to us right now, that Trick needs help more than Obafemi does. And he is time and time again every week telling anybody who will listen that he is tunnel vision focused on Obafemi and getting his title back. So we will see as we're back from commercial. They're just advertising WrestleMania week. It is going to be quite a week there. Rick RT, hey, Rick RT, welcome to the chat, friend. It is good to see you, dude. Thanks for being here. So we've still got one more title defense from Stephanie Vaquer before the night is over with. And we also have Andre Chase versus Ethan Page tonight as well. And who knows what else, because there's talent we haven't seen yet tonight. So, George, talking about Dark State holding gold. I didn't think about that. That's 4 dudes. I mean, if I'm Fraxium, I better be keeping my head on a swivel. And what are we seeing here? Tatum Paxley. Oh, are we getting the tag match? Are we getting Tatum and Gigi versus Metaphor right now? Let's see it happen. You know what? I think this is going to be this. I'm going to call now that Tatum and Gigi, underrated team. I've never heard anybody have a bad thing to say about Tatum Paxley, and Gigi has always been a personal favorite of mine. No matter what faction she's been in, she just stands out to me. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I hated that she had that injury when she was doing that brief story with Ariana Grace. I was really enjoying that. And then they just tossed it when she got hurt. But her being teamed up with Tatum, not a bad thing at all. They have a lot of personality, for sure. But speaking of a lot of personality, here comes Lash and Jakara. So, all right, guys, we've got the ladies of Metaphor versus the ladies of, what do they call themselves? Chemical X? Is that right? Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan versus Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Who do you have in this match? Leave it in the comments. Let me know who you've got in this match. I love Lash and Jakara. They got, screen effects on their entrance and stuff like that. Like, I always love that little sign of production investment in a team. Tells you that, they're getting attention from the people doing the show. So, but anyway, dude, women's wrestling, I'm telling you, like, I just go all the way back to like when I started as a kid, and it was like Rockin' Robin and like Wendy Richter and Sherry Martel and an old Moolah. Like, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of those ladies. You don't get to hear without them. Each step is an evolution in the process. But man, women's wrestling has just achieved such exponential growth. So I'm happy to see it. All right. So George is calling Tatum and Gigi for this match. Justin's calling Paxley and Gigi. And here's Sol and Zarya already just strolling out here to watch, which has already got Lash's attention. So I don't want to look at every perceivable angle. But the way these stories are going, Stand and Deliver is shaping up to be special. We could have a possible 3-way women's tag. We could have, who knows what kind of tag we could have for Fraxian. We could have Ricky Saints and Sean Spears. Oh, I like that tandem move. Irish whip on Tatum in the corner. Oh, and Bronco Buster by Gigi. Okay. I feel like some of the fans in the crowd are, they're into this match, but they also might be a little distracted. But then again, that angle closing the last match. Oh, man, Tatum Paxley with that submission again. I forget what it's called, but that's actually an old school maneuver that's not used a lot anymore. Tatum showing off. Lash just comes in and pulls her right off. Jakara. Oh, dude, the offense in this match is creative. This match is not as dang. Running bicycle kick by Lash Legend. Now, this match, I feel like is just as intense as that Hank and Tank Tyreek Tyson match earlier, but it just seems like it's at a half speed slower. And I don't know that necessarily is a bad thing, because like the moves aren't getting messed up or anything like that. All the moves are clean and crisp, but it's just at a slightly slower pace. But man, these ladies are great. Yeah, so I will say, the presence of Zarya and Sol Ruca seems to be distracting Metaphor far more than Gigi and Tatum. So we'll see where that comes into play. But they definitely are a constant distraction here by just standing there. And you would think that the ladies of Metaphor and their tag resume would have them a little more seasoned to pay attention in the ring. Oh, no. Malfunction at the junction. Here comes Gigi. Oh, she looks like she got a slight slip off the top, but she still nailed that double clothesline. Wow, I didn't realize Jakara and Ripcord clothesline there. Jakara and Gigi have very similar hair color. Another tag in. Here comes Tatum again. Now what do we got? Oh, jumping kick. It's like a very short disaster kick. Is that a double headbutt coming off the ropes? Oh. Wow. Well, Tatum and Gigi win. I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed that this match wasn't more competitive. I mean, Lash and Jakara were distracted throughout the match, but Cemetery Drive, a tandem finisher, and they had one moment of collision that kind of knocked Lash out of the ring. But I wouldn't call it. I'm not going to overreact and call that a squash, but I just definitely expected that match to be more competitive. I mean, that was decisive enough, though, that it makes me question: are Lash and Jakara not long for NXT? Like, are they going to come up soon? I know we were asking that question back when Bianca and Naomi were tag partners, but anyway, it wasn't a bad match at all. Justin called it a great match. I won't take anything away from you for that take. I guess I just thought there'd be a little bit more to it. Maybe there will be a three-way rematch at Stand and Deliver, and maybe they're saving some of their best stuff for that. I don't know. Well, now we have a meeting with the family here, brought to you by Progressive. I'm sorry, guys. There's just something about seeing the Progressive Insurance, an insurance company, sponsoring a mafia-themed segment. It's both very on the nose and like, I don't know. I don't even know if Progressive is progressive enough. We'll see. Yeah, Dark State laid a significant beatdown on Tony last week backstage. Stacks and Tony.
Yeah, everything's all right. Besides Dark State. Why? You're the underboss for a reason. You grew up together. Remember when you were in high school?
I feel like I'm watching The Departed on Tubi right now, to be honest.
Yeah. There were some big sharks there. Yeah, there were. And you remember when they tried to pull your card? And I had to step up and convince them to give you a pass? I remember, T. I'll never forget what you done for me. No, you won't. Because I believe in you. Because I trust you. I can always trust
There's
you.
tension between Stacks and Tony. Seems like Tony is getting a little paranoid because
You can always trust me, T.
he's taken some of Stacks' mistakes as betrayal. But I'll give him credit. Doing this kind of cinematic stuff on NXT prepares these guys for the main roster. So we got what we got. Okay. A&B Combos Wrestling Edition. Welcome to NXT. And if I can share my opening quote with everybody as we went live, if you weren't here, ladies and gentlemen, we're live. So fill up your plates, find the joy in your life, and remind Booker T that he has a wife, because we've got double Stephanie Vaquer tonight. A&B Combos Wrestling Edition. Welcome to the chat. Stephanie might, in fact, lose the North American title to Fallon. And thank you for our homemade super chat, as Marked by Wrestling is still growing in there. George Lewis says, I might disagree with you a little bit. So let's see what we got. Yeah, so we're on a kind of commercial. We see Rhea doing a meet and greet here. So thank you, A&B Combos, for that super chat, and much appreciated. So yeah, so if you're catching up with us, so Stephanie has taken a little bit of a beating from Fatal Influence prior to her North American title defense tonight. So she's going to come in DDP style, DDP Nitro era style, with taped up ribs, saying, I am La Primera. I gave my word to my people of Chile, to the people of NXT, to the fans, that I was going to wrestle twice tonight, and I'm going to do it. So We will see exactly, A&B. We will see what happens. They have definitely written themselves an out that keeps that keeps Stephanie strong. But it's that numbers game, King. It's that dang numbers game. 1-on-3. Will Stephanie, who is holding all the titles right now, all the single titles, have a friend in the locker room who can have her back? Or is she on her own because she's got 2 targets on her back? We'll see. George Lewis with a chat. 1 second, my good man. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair as the special guest referee, which I'm assuming may be the main event of Raw on Monday. We know how that's going to end. Well, I'm assuming it's probably going to end with Rhea Ripley getting added to that match at WrestleMania. That's one thing I think is going to happen. But I got to say, as soon as they incorporated Bianca as a special referee, my mind went immediately to SummerSlam 1997, or more recently, SummerSlam of last year, when Seth was the special guest referee for Drew and Punk, or Shawn Michaels in 97 was a special referee for Bret and Undertaker. And the special referee was pushed over the edge and they inadvertently were involved in the finish. I'm curious if Bianca, would she, in a very petty manner, disqualify Rhea Ripley just to screw her out of WrestleMania so it can be her and Io? That is something I'm curious about, because she don't want her there, and neither her nor Rhea are even acknowledging Io Sky, to the point, by the way, that I'm starting to wonder, does Io Sky leave WrestleMania as champion? Because if she doesn't, guys, she's been getting pie-faced by both these women every single week leading up to Mania. And if that keeps happening and she doesn't win at Mania, she does not deserve that. She deserves to leave both those women laying at least once between now and WrestleMania, whether that's at WrestleMania or Raw, the coming Monday Night Raws. Fine either way. Just put some respect on Io Sky's name for sure. George thinks we might see Julia again tonight to return and help Stephanie to maybe stake her claim back to get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. Yeah, man. I mean, we had Miss Parker come up short tonight thanks to Jordan Grace. So that has me wondering, stand and deliver? Oh, hold on. We're back. Hank and Tank are talking to the Motor City Machine Guns, who are visiting tonight. Machine Guns are putting Hank and Tank over.
There's levels to this, okay? So a couple words of advice. You gotta trust your partner. And on top of that, you can't compare yourselves to us. We've been teaming for well over a decade.
Interesting. Machine Guns say rule number 1, always trust your partner, which obviously Fraxium is having an issue there.
WWE Tag Team Champions. That's the most important thing, boys. Don't give up. Don't give up. Gotcha. Appreciate that, guys. Okay, then. I'll see you guys online. I know you appreciate it.
Dude, they're great in the ring, but if the Machine Guns don't look like a couple of dads who hang out in the garage over the weekend, God bless them. They put in so much work over the years. I'm so glad they're in WWE now. And I said this earlier in the show, NXT has the best women's division in WWE. SmackDown, I believe, has the best tag division right now. And they're part of the reason why. But, yeah. All right. Andre Chase here, looking like that version of Baron Corbin from back in the day, with 2 very eager pledges for the currently defunct Chase University. I miss Chase U, I know some people didn't care for Chase U maybe, but I always loved Chase U, and I thought Chase U was a great NXT gimmick. Like, don't ever bring it up to the main roster. Let it be an NXT thing, and I would love it if they cycled talent through it. Like they could have like a graduation ceremony whenever somebody's going to get called up to the main roster. They could bring in new talent in. I miss Chase U because the fans loved Chase U too. It really got them involved and invested in the matches with the chance. It was a really good engagement opportunity. All right, so we've got Ethan Page and Andre Chase. Who do you guys have for this match tonight? Ethan Page, obviously, Ethan Page is having a great career in NXT. He's doing great. And Andre Chase, has been on a bit of a descent since Chase U got disbanded. So will he get his groove back? Will he re-enroll? Will he resurrect Chase U sooner rather than later, or is that really done? We'll see what happens. Good question, George. I don't know. I haven't seen Thea Hale. I don't remember having seen Thea Hale since Chase U was disbanded. So I'm curious. All right. Well, right now, everybody in the chat, Justin, George, are calling for Ethan Page here in this match. I mean, I'm inclined to agree. I think Ethan Page has probably got this one tonight. So we'll see what happens, though. The story is ever unfolding in front of us. Once again, Stand and Deliver, Saturday, April 19th, the same day as WrestleMania Night 1, but earlier in the day. I will excitedly be live streaming Stand and Deliver earlier in the day. So if you guys want to get up, have some French toast, throw some Eggo waffles in the toaster, whatever your speed is, we can have some Stand and Deliver together as our primer for WrestleMania. So Thea's been active on Instagram. Okay. Okay. Andre Chase jumps off the apron, catches Ego on the way down, and basks in the encouragement of his two would-be Chase U. Even the crowd's still giving the U, baby. And it's not for Miami. They're not Hurricane fans. Who would be these days? Anyway, but so, yeah, fans want to see Chase U come back. So we'll see what comes of that. We're in picture now. They're back in the ring, and Andre Chase in control with a suplex to cover, only for 2. But, yeah, so anyway, that's what we got for that. Okay. Another question. So I'm enjoying having main roster conversations during commercial breaks. Next topic, as we're heading to WrestleMania, Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. I'm curious where you guys are on that feud right now, particularly after their sort of split screen interview segment last week. How are you enjoying the Charlotte and Tiffany feud? And do any of you have thoughts on who you think is going to win that match yet? Or are you still waiting for that to play out? So what do you guys think of the Charlotte-Tiffany feud? Let me know in the comments. We'll put some stuff on the screen. We'll chop it up and see what you guys think. I got to say, in the interview segment, I didn't get to see it live, but I'll say that Charlotte really showed the gap of experience between her and Tiffany in that interview segment. I don't think it was as bad as that time John Cena and Roman Reigns had that promo where Roman forgot his lines and Cena just fried him up for it. But I feel like Tiffany was a little exposed in that interview, and I did not want to see Charlotte with another title reign. I'm sorry, I'm not a Charlotte fan, but I wish there was a little more to her character other than I'm Charlotte and I'm the best because I'm Charlotte. Because she's great in the ring, and honestly, that promo from hers was really, really good. Like she She completely won that feud. Part of me actually wants to see Charlotte win. And I don't know if you guys remember SummerSlam a few years ago when Becky Lynch returned and just squashed Bianca Belair. I was furious when that happened, by the way. But for the remainder of the year, Bianca built herself back up with decisive wins and came back and beat Becky Lynch at that following WrestleMania and sort of solidified her comeback and solidified herself as a main eventer, like permanently in that feud. Sure, she beat Mercedes/Sasha that time before, but I feel like the Becky feud is what really like set her apart to the point where, in my estimation, Bianca is bulletproof now. I see Bianca and Rhea on the same level personally, which is why I'm so excited to see them go one-on-one at some point. Nevertheless, I feel like if Tiffany loses the title at Mania, that she could benefit from a similar redemption story, a comeback story, because at the end of the day, as we're back now to the action, Tiffany won that belt via cash-in, and she hasn't really. She's the face in this feud because the crowd has made her one, but she was heelish up until that point. And so at the end of the day, she hasn't done a lot to earn through storytelling. She hasn't done a lot to earn the validation of being a top star. And I think she has what it takes to be a top star. But if she's going to do that and be a babyface, then she needs to earn some clean wins and not have the benefit of the briefcase as an advantage or the champion's advantage. So anyway, I'd be kind of interested to see her chase Charlotte back. That's just where I think. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Chase's boys. Oh, man. Chase found his groove and was going for the chant. But Paige caught him. Oh, but a reversal. I'll tell you what about Andre Chase. He's talented in the ring. He's deceptively talented because the way he wears his gear, especially what he's done with his hair now too, he looks like tired and haggard and kind of a little sad. So it really sells his not having that extra drive in him right now in his matches. It's pretty cool. Oh, man. Ego pulls him off and then, catches him. Is that it? 2. Chase kicks out. See what happens. All right. And then, so George wants to see Tiffany beat Charlotte Flair. That's fair. I think a lot of people do. We'll see what comes of it. Ethan Page just smacking. Oh, Andre Chase smacking him back. Crowd's awake. Chase eats a boot to the face and rolls out to the apron on the outside. Ego gives Chase, no pun intended, reversal. Oh, neck breaker onto the apron. Andre Chase rolls him back inside. Going back up to the second rope. Tornado DDT by Andre Chase. But he's moving slow. 2, 2.5. Man, these two guys, Andre Chase and Ethan Page, have taken the crowd on a ride in this match. They are awake now. They want to believe in Chase. NXT chants, which is, universal code for approval of the match in general. Chase going back up top again, but he gets crotched on the top by Page, who's climbing up now with his back to him, setting him up. Could this be it? Got him on his shoulders off the top, off the second rope. Power slam off the second rope. 2 and 2.9. All right. Oh, catches him with a twist of fate. And that does it. Ethan Page doesn't let the kick out sit. So he gets up and nails him with a twist of fate immediately and capitalizes. Sucks the wind right out of the ring. Ethan Page wins. It's a good match. That was an unannounced match going into tonight. And those guys came in, took the crowd on a ride, took them on a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. And Ethan Page comes out victorious while Ricky Saints looks on from the commentary team. Ricky Saints is fostering quite a. Oh, Ricky Saints is standing up, giving what seems to be a bit of a smarmy round of applause to Ethan Page. They're chatting at each other. Oh, Spears is here. Belt shot to Ricky Saints. And so is the rest of the culling, here to stand smugly and victoriously over the downed body of Ricky Saints. Do I see Ricky Saints winning the North American title next week? Hold on. Dark State's on the screen. Just gloating. When Dark State strikes, nobody's safe. When the lights go out, the anxiety goes up. I don't see Ricky Saints winning the title next week. Possibly, I don't know what Stand and Deliver holds for us. And I think that title probably is in Ricky's future, but like Sean Spears, like just got it, you know? I don't know if they would have him basically be a transitional champion. I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't know. Oh, so we're revisiting Stephanie McMahon's interview with CM Punk. I do find it kind of interesting as they're retelling the story of CM Punk agreeing to re-sign with WWE. If you listen to the original podcast, you know, he did with Colt Cabana after he left WWE, you know, he said he was fired on his wedding day and he agreed to re-sign on Thanksgiving Day. So he's like pulling Triple H away from his Thanksgiving dinner with his family. So, you know, I'm sure that wasn't, you know, intentional. It just worked out that way because Survivor Series was just days after Thanksgiving. It was that same weekend. So, yeah. All right. Stephanie Vaquer, suited and booted and ready to go. And here comes Fallon Henley and Fatal Influence. Fallon Henley wearing a cow, like a cow print fur coat, like she's Miss Chick-fil-A or something. Well, if they're walking to the ring, that means we got to be close to the main event. So let's go ahead and switch up our yeah, here we go. Switch up our cards here. The NXT Women's North American title, Stephanie Vaquer versus Fallon Henley. Who do you guys have? This is the match of the night, the main event, the big question mark. Does an injured Stephanie Vaquer leave victorious, or does Fallon Henley reclaim her North American title? All right, I'm seeing votes for Stephanie Vaquer, or at least wishes for Stephanie Vaquer to win. George, not a fan of Jasmine Nix and Fatal Influence. Tyrell Breed, Black Panther Gaming, welcome to the chat, good sir. It's good to have you here. You're just in time for the main event. We're currently on commercial break, but when we come back, it will be Stephanie Vaquer defending the Women's North American title against Fallon Henley. with Fatal Influence in tow. She has already successfully defended the NXT title against one Ms. Parker, Jada Parker, earlier this evening, thanks to a timely distraction from Jordan Grace and a subsequent beatdown from Fatal Influence. So Stephanie is going into this match not at 100%. Not only has she had one title defense tonight, but she's already caught a beatdown from a 3-on-1 beatdown after her initial defense tonight. So she's got the cards stacked against her. Will she remain victorious? Because they are definitely pushing that Stephanie is a back down from nobody kind of champion, and she's taking on all comers. So we'll see what comes. It is that time of the week. Our brother Justin reminds us wrestling is life and wrestling is death, but also wrestling is life. Danny Rojas couldn't have said it better. All right. So, I will say this. I think this is a prime opportunity to get the belt off of Stephanie without making her look bad. So I could see Fallon stealing it back, and I am not against Stephanie retaining. I won't be mad if she does, because I like this counterpoint of Stephanie being like, I'm a woman of my word, and I am going to represent the very, very early 90s pre-Attitude Era Bret Hart world champion stuff. I am a fighting champion, and I am here for the people. And I'm a woman of my word, and I said I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. So I'm totally down with her being victorious as well. But I will say, I don't know how she wins without help, though. Not necessarily in the ring, but maybe someone to neutralize the rest of Fatal Influence outside the ring. But Fatal Influence is the kind of group that makes enemies pretty easily. And Stephanie Vaquer, while she has 2 belts, which means she has 2 targets on her back, doesn't mean she doesn't have respect from people too, who might be willing to show up for her. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But either way, I think we're going to be in for a great match, because we are going to give at least 15 minutes or so tonight. Yes, sir, Dossie Chatham. Thank you for the reminder. Dark Side of the Ring and Daredevil tonight, too. Daredevil, 2 episodes dropped tonight. Daredevil firing is the NXT of the MCU, firing on all cylinders with every episode. I'm a huge Daredevil series fan. I'm not going to lie and pretend like I was a huge comic or even a fan of Daredevil as a hero. But from the moment Charlie Cox put on that suit and Vincent D'Onofrio was cast as Kingpin, phenomenal. Okay, we're back. Trick calls Javon collateral damage. A distraction. I really want a hat that says "Whoop that." Trick says, 1, Javon's collateral damage. 2, Obafemi, you know where to find me next week. 3, Dark State ain't none of my business. And he's saying he should have been champion. Okay, we get Ricky Saints and Sean Spears next week, guys. George, I think you called it already. Probably all my yapping. I didn't hear it the first time they announced it. All right, here comes Fatal Influence. Listen, y'all, I am more and more convinced that Trick is headed to the dark side and maybe to the dark state. Because dude is already saying should have been me. I should be champion. That is desperation, my friends. Making excuses, being desperate. He may want something more to help deal with Obafemi and try to get that title back. We'll see what happens. All right, Fallon Henley makes her entrance. Thank you guys for tolerating all my water intake tonight. Trying to keep my voice healthy. My poor wife, you guys keep my wife in her prayers. She's just gotten over some sickness herself, and my wife, who is a teacher, has been without a voice for 2 to 3 weeks. So school has been hard for her, but she just, I feel like, got it back. So hopefully that's all behind us. But trying to keep my voice strong too, because I use my voice a lot in multiple ventures in life. This, my church, and other things. So here comes the champ, Stephanie Vaquer. Looking ready for action. She looks like she wants a fight. Although she is selling, she definitely, like, she's just got a posture to her walk where she's selling that injury. So we'll see what happens. Yes, Dawsey, Backlash is in St. Louis, Randy Orton's backyard. I'm curious if Randy gets a prime matchup for that show. Yeah, Stephanie definitely like carrying herself in like a posture of bravery. And man, Fallon looking so smug right now. Like she feels like she's got it in the bag. I feel like this match is going to sneak up on us again and be a good one. Let's see what happens. I just hope whatever happens, because we got a good 15 minutes or so to do this match. Okay, I low-key don't hate Fallon's gear. This sort of cowgirl getup. And I like her color scheme. I'm a sucker for good color schemes and gear. Sorry. There is a part of me that kind of hopes that Fallon's cockiness backfires on her. And let's see if Stephanie digs down deep inside and pulls it out. All right. Stephanie's selling already, man. Crowd chanting Stephanie already before the bell rings. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, ring that bell. All right, we're underway, guys. Lock in your predictions now. Who do you got? I'm just going to back against the wall. I'm going to pick Fallon. I think the numbers game will do it, but I won't be happy about it. All right, Fallon on the attack already, as she should be. Okay. Stephanie playing defense. Now throwing hands. Oh, kick to the ribs. Stephanie goes down. Another shot to the midsection. She's going to be working Stephanie's midsection. All right, Justin's calling Stephanie, and I know George wants Stephanie to win too. Anybody else in the chat, who do you see winning tonight? Stephanie or Fallon? Tyrell saying Stephanie too. All right. I love the belief in the chat. I genuinely mean that. All right, guys, if you want to support the channel before we're done tonight, you can do so below. Thank you guys for all your support so much tonight already. We are on the path, on the road to Stand and Deliver, on the road to super chatting officially. So we want to get there as soon as we can. We're working on it, and appreciate your patience as we make our way through. All right. Tell you what, man, this is just old school heel stuff right here. Just Fallon doing nothing but focusing on the injured part of Stephanie's body. Just so logical, so sensical. And crowd is trying to will Stephanie back into this. And shout out to Corey Graves on commentary, giving some, physiological insight in his commentary Here comes Stephanie. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. She about went to a 619, but she pulled up. I don't know if she's selling the injury or something got caught up there. Oh, Fallon with a 619 around the ring post. And now they're doing a little pose on the apron. Seems to be a commercial break spot. Yes, indeed it is, as we're picture in picture. But yeah, so this is not a high paced match, nor should it be, because Stephanie's already wrestled once tonight, and she's dealing with her injuries from the beatdown of the previous match. But she's still hanging in there, and Fallon, just every bit of offense she is focusing on Stephanie is going toward that injured midsection. So the story is loud and clear and in your face in this match. So anyway, back to giving some props to Corey Graves, just talking about Stephanie's injury and likening, that core injury, making it difficult to breathe, obviously making Stephanie a little bit slower, impairing some of her abilities in the match and stuff. So I miss that kind of insight in wrestling not play calling, but commentary, in color commentary. You don't really get that with Pat McAfee because that's just not who he is. But you say on SmackDown, you get that with Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, who, by the way, low key, fantastic announce team, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. Maybe my favorite team out of everybody. When it's a high profile match, Cole and McAfee I still really like a lot. But man, for just weekly TV and stuff, man, I was skeptical about Tessitore when he first came on the scene, but that dude has locked in so fast into being like the play-by-play guy for the show. He's great. And I mean, it helps that he's he was an actual like professional broadcaster in the first place. And so him and Wade Barrett, man, those guys are great as a team. Never knew I would have wanted that from them, but they are excellent. George predicting some shenanigans in this match. I'm almost positive, George, we're going to see some shenanigans at some point. You've got two other women on the outside of the ring who want ill intent for Stephanie to try to reclaim a title back for their faction. But even running, so like we're still in picture, even Stephanie, when she tries to rally some offense, cannot run the ropes at full speed. And I want to give her so much credit for how much she's selling, because something that really annoys me in wrestling, and I'm not going to single anybody out, I'm not going to single out any companies or TV shows. One of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling is when someone's selling an injury and all of a sudden they just forget it for a spot. And I know some of that is done probably as a confidence or a safety issue to make sure a move is executed well and safely. But like, if you can't execute the move safely and still sell an injury, maybe you shouldn't be doing the move. You know what I mean? And Stephanie, man, taking it to the fundamental level of selling that she's even having difficulty running the ropes right now. And I'm telling you, it's a repetitive match. It's like a 2K match where if this was a 2K match, Stephanie's midsection, much like her gear, would be all red at this point. Yeah, you know what? I'm not changing my pick because I don't believe in changing your pick. But I will say they are leaning so hard. They are leaning so hard on Stephanie's injury. If she doesn't sneak out a victory here, I'm going to be surprised. Because I'm starting to believe in Stephanie now because they're laying it on so thick about her injury. Like every time she gets a modicum of offense, Fallon just hits her in the midsection. She crumples down. She she folds like a cheap card table. All right, Fallon is seated on the top turnbuckle, and Stephanie has climbed her way up to try to do something. Headbutts. Multiple headbutts. Haku would be impressed. She's going to go for a superplex. Superplex. Fallon is down. So is Stephanie. Yeah, George, you believe that's what they're doing. And to Stephanie's credit, this is her first title defense of both titles. And if they weren't going to have her surrender the North American title for like a multi-woman match or a tournament, and she actually is going to have to get beaten for it, I'm starting to believe that she's going to pull this out. But I'll tell you what, there's only one woman on this planet I'm in love with, and that's my wife. But my wrestling fandom is growing fandom affection for Stephanie Vaquer. She is excellent. But you'll never hear me cheer for her like Booker T does. That Mr. T, that Mr. Booker is a little out of pocket. Speaking of, it's that time again for Booker to lose his mind. Oh, roll up, reversed. And Fallon finishes it off with a stomp to the gut. Booker's got to crash out if he's not going to get that spot. Oh, man. Launching suplex. Stephanie getting massive chance, though. Oh, reversal off the ropes, going for a roll-up. 2 count. 2 count. A&B Combos, another super chat. Thank you, A&B. Big fans, my brother and sister. Oh, Stephanie, I'm coming to you, A&B. Stephanie just took a wild, wide open shot at Fatal Influence on the outside, but Jasmine next catches her and throws her inside. I'm coming back to that chat. Oh, blockbuster off the second rope. No, not like this. 2 count. It's a numbers game. Shenanigans may play a part in this match. The numbers game is in full effect. Can Stephanie overcome? It's a tale as old as time. The babyface working against the odds. Super kick by Stephanie. Jasmine on the apron. Uh-oh. Is she going to get caught? No, not a gut buster. Come on. Reverse. Okay, Stephanie with the roll-up. Referee out of position again. SVB. She got her. Is that going to be enough? 1, 2. Stephanie retains. Our double champion retains. Great finish. The crowd was locked in. And our double champ is still a double champ. Amazing stuff here. This is, oh no. That numbers game. These Jezebels from Fatal Influence trying to get another beat down on Stephanie Vaquer. Won't somebody from the back come in and help her? Oh, here comes the sirens. Big Mama Pump coming to throw some meat around. Catch it. Okay. She's just out. Oh, man. She's just out here throwing bodies around. Jordan Grace here to save the day. Just a full-on beatdown. Jordan's picked up the titles. She going to be a sportswoman? She hands the North American title. She easily hands over the North American title to Stephanie, but holds on to the NXT title just a little too long. Oh, Jada's back in the ring. Miss Parker's now back to get some of Jordan. These 3 women's story is not over yet. Gotcha, A and B. No problem. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, great show tonight. I echo the question of A and B. What would you say? Hold on. We got one more segment backstage. All the women are calling next on Stephanie. Cora, Kalani, Basically, the entire women's locker room wants next for Stephanie Vaquer. Great job putting her over. Match of the night tonight, for my money, was the one we just saw. Um, not just the match in a vacuum by itself, but the context leading up to the match tonight. The story they told all night, of Stephanie getting to this main event, and then the performance that she put on in the main event. Stephanie is my 1993 Bret Hart. I'm telling you, she put on, I won't say at the level of a 93 King of the Ring performance, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but she did a great job tonight in both matches. So, guys, let's highlight some of y'all's answers. Justin Hallencrantz said Hank and Tank versus Tyson and Tyreek for me. I mean, that was definitely a sleeper match of the night, with the tag division, the men's tag division growing in NXT. They definitely, I wouldn't say they over delivered, but I didn't know what to expect from that match, and those guys went at it the whole time. High octane, great match. Let's drop your ratings for everybody. George giving NXT a solid 9.5. What a great show tonight. Great story throughout the night. We're going to continue to have continuing to tell these stories and build to next week. NXT has got one of the best models for retaining viewers coming back every week, telling long-term stories, setting up next week's matches, all this kind of stuff. So Justin Hallencrantz says 10 out of 10, and that is just to yeet. All right. Tyrell Breed, Black Panther Gaming. 10 out of 31.5. You know what, dude? That looks like some Steiner math to me, bro, which tells me it's got to be at a high level of intelligence that I probably just can't comprehend because I did not go to an established institution like the University of Michigan. But I'm going to say that, take that and say that you, I'm going to say that you enjoyed the show. Yes, sir, George. Everything is leading to Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver, remember, the same day as night one of WrestleMania, I will be live with you guys for Stand and Deliver, and it's my hope that we can all commune together for Stand and Deliver, and then we can all usher ourselves into the studio of A&B Combos Wrestling Edition for WrestleMania's night 1 and 2. I don't want to speak for them, but I just want to say I hope we can spend WrestleMania together wherever that is, because in the words of Andy Williams at Christmas time, it's the most wonderful time of the year. I actually say that about the Royal Rumble, but you know what? It's true for WrestleMania. Super chat coming in again from my brother and sister, A&B Combos Wrestling Edition. NXT is no bread, no water, just meat. And if you don't know, now you know, baby. I'm not, never mind. Never going to quote Diddy ever again. All right. So, but nevertheless, solid, high quality action tonight for NXT. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. The old school in me just absolutely loved the storytelling of the matches tonight. There's foreshadowing. There is questions, left to be answered. There are feuds coming. We have a title match again next week. We have a men's North American title match next week. Ricky Saint's first title match in NXT will be next week, leading up to Stand and Deliver. And man, dude, this women's division, dude, everybody's got beef. Everybody wants a piece of La Primera. So who's going to be next in line, and what is Ava going to do about it? I wouldn't be mad at a Battle Royal next week, to find out who the next competitors are going to be. But anyway, very curious to see how we get our next contenders. So anyway, love you guys being here tonight. I hope A and B, you're still here. I just want to confirm you guys are locked and loaded for SmackDown, that we'll all join you together for SmackDown on Friday night. just want to throw that out there and make sure so all our people that are here tonight will know to be there. And then again, Monday, I am your special substitute teacher for Monday afternoon Raw, coming to you from London. And so I'll do my best. I'll bring some of my best Ted Lasso gear, and we are going to be, and I'll be joining you for Monday afternoon Raw for live from London. Yes, our brothers and sisters A and B combos will be locked and loaded for SmackDown, coming to us live from London first. London for SmackDown, London for Raw. Yes, sir, George. Took the words out of your mouth about a Royal. They got to figure it out somehow. They got a lot of people wanting that next shot, and they're going to have to figure it out somehow between now and Stand and Deliver. Yeah, this is a solid AEW Women's Division. Take notes. I'll tell you what. I read today, God bless her, I hope she lands on her feet. She's an incredible talent and a very competent person about the business, that Gail Kim is no longer with TNA. If I'm AEW, I've already called her and see if I can bring her in to help manage my women's division. And no shade on AEW, but they could be better, and Gail Kim could make them so much better if Hunter hasn't already called her first. Blew my mind that she's not with TNA anymore. Anyway, so yeah, guys, Justin, thank you so much for being here, man. I hope you have a great and awesome week as well. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys with A and B combos on Friday. And after that, see you at the beginning of next week on Monday, right back here at Marked by Wrestling. And before we go, let's just remember, guys, preserve your joy in wrestling. Don't ever let your fandom or someone else's fandom steal your joy of wrestling. And don't be ashamed of being a mark, because what do we say? Being a mark just means you believe, and believing makes wrestling better. All right, guys. Love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. I will see you guys on Monday for Raw. I'll see you in the chat for SmackDown. I may dip in and out because Fridays are busy days in the Marked by Wrestling house. But regardless, I'll see you by Monday at the latest, or if not even Monday, next Tuesday for more NXT, man. Yeah. Love you guys. Take care.